In this video, I'm going to share with you a few reasons why Blade Runner 2049 is one of the most influential films I've ever seen, and why I think everybody, especially men, right now, need to see this movie. Barring Mel Gibson's Passion of the Christ, no movie in recent memory has given me such a deep and visceral reaction to the characters or the story. Now, if you're like me and you've already seen this movie a billion times, let me know down in the comments below what your favorite part of this film is, or maybe a takeaway from the film that makes you think. If by the end of this video you don't feel the desire to go and watch this stunning film, well, maybe somebody needs to come and retire me. So to get things started, we need to have a basic understanding of the lore and the world building going on in the background of this film. Blade Runner 2049 is the sequel to the 1982 film Blade Runner. You don't have to have seen the original to get an understanding of what's going on in this movie, but I'm going to give a basic background anyway, just for the sake of context for this video. In the original Blade Runner, Harrison Ford plays a character named Deckard. Deckard is a Blade Runner, a type of bounty hunter whose sole purpose is to hunt down and kill or retire individuals known as replicants. You see, Blade Runner is set in an alternate dystopian cyberpunk type timeline where corporations run the world. One of those corporations in the original Blade Runner was called the Tyrell Corporation. Now, Tyrell Corporation developed the replicants. You can think of replicants as these genetically enhanced lab-grown humans, except they're not exactly human. For replicants, things like emotions are difficult to manage, as they have no real memories or life experiences to draw upon or learn from. Replicants tend to seem emotionless on the outside, almost sociopathic in a way. And more importantly, they can't reproduce. They can't procreate, they can't create life. And because they aren't capable of creating life, the people of the Blade Runner universe have declared that replicants aren't human. They use this to justify the way replicants are treated. Replicants are in a lower class, a less than human abomination solely existing to make the lives of humans better and easier. When a replicant deviates from their design or purpose, or when a government or corporation deems that their usefulness is at an end, people like Deckard, Blade Runners, are sent to retire them. In the original film, Deckard was tasked with hunting down a few replicants, and during the course of his duties, he falls in love with a woman named Rachel. Now, shocking, Rachel is a replicant, a new prototype in fact, implanted with memories that aren't hers. Rachel was created to see if implanting false memories into a replicant would help mitigate the uncontrollable emotions in replicants as they age. But essentially, Deckard and Rachel fall in love and are together at the end of the film. By the way, there's a final cut and a theatrical version, slightly different endings, so pick your poison. 30 years later, 2049, replicants are still used for slave labor. Following the events of the first film, they are developed now by the Wallace Corporation, who went on to create more advanced models with implanted memories and longer lifespans. Enter K, an advanced Nexus 9 replicant. K is a Blade Runner, and he is good at his job.
Please don't get up.
After retiring a rogue replicant, K finds a box underneath a tree. This box holds the remains of a female replicant. After inspection, it is determined that the replicant had died during childbirth. This creates fear that if the public and replicants find out that the replicants can be capable of creating life naturally, there would be a huge war between replicants and humans. So K's boss orders him to find the identity of and retire this naturally born replicant child. K is hesitant because he's never retired something that was born before, as to be born is to have a soul. So from this point forward, spoilers. I think the main point of this film is to make you reflect on yourself and your own path in life. More specifically, I think this film uses K as an embodiment of you. What I mean by that is, depending on what stage of life you watch this film or what season of life you might be in, you may get a completely different lesson or takeaway from it. So again, I encourage you to go see this for yourself, but I've seen this film multiple times over the course of the past 5 years or so, and every time I watch it, I find myself reflecting on it for days after. But every time has been a unique and different lesson for me. So let's go ahead and dive into some of the main themes of this film, and I'll share with you some of the key takeaways that it's given me. There's a scene that hits me really hard early on in this film. After a long day, Kay comes home to try and end the day. He gets his AI partner, Joy, an immunator. It's this device that allows her to be portable, as opposed to being stuck in the room, as she initially is just a projected holographic image from this little modular arm that swings around the apartment, and it's implied that this is really antiquated technology.
Do you want to dance, or do you want to open your present?
What present?
This one.
What's the occasion?
Let's just say it's our anniversary.
Is it?
No, but let's just say that it is.
Now that she is free to move around, Kay asks her where she wants to go first, and they go up to the roof. On this roof, we see the longing in Kay's eyes. He seems to truly admire Joy and care for her, or at least he loves the idea of loving and caring for her. You see, at the end of this scene, Kay, and in turn the viewer, are hit with the sad reminder of what the reality is. As Kay goes to embrace Joy, her hologram becomes a bit unstable, and it's clear that Kay isn't able to physically touch her without the illusion being broken. That's all this relationship is, an illusion. He just wants a connection. He longs for companionship and to come home every day to a loving wife, and instead, he's destined to come home every day to the illusion of love, an empty image of what could be. And he's simply never going to be able to have it. He's a replicant, after all. No real girl would ever be with him. And as he tries his best to hold on to the illusion as long as possible, the moment comes to an abrupt halt as he receives a phone call from his lieutenant telling him to report to the station immediately.
The dig's come through. We have a new lead. Get down here.
How many men in today's world are longing for companionship but feel doomed to never find it? How many men can only find connection with a person on a screen, only for reality to set in and those men just feel pain, shame, and sadness? How many men are trapped in an illusion of a relationship? Maybe they're in a relationship, but the person they're with is no longer who they initially sought out. Maybe their partner has just become an empty shell, an illusion of what it used to be. There's so many layers just to this one scene on the roof, and this theme of loneliness continues throughout the entire film. Towards the later half of the film, Kay's partner Joy is destroyed, only for him to be reminded just a few minutes later that she was never real to begin with, and that he truly was alone this entire time. Throughout this entire film, we can see a longing for importance and purpose from Kay. The main plot of the film actually revolves around Kay trying to find his true identity, and even once he thinks he's figured it out, he gets blindsided with the real truth. Kay is a nobody. He isn't important. He isn't the chosen one. We end up finding out along with Kay that he is in fact just an average Joe, a regular replicant, not born but engineered. The memories that he has of what he believes to be his childhood are actually just the memories of Deckard's daughter, who has been working in an isolation chamber. She's the person who develops and creates memories for the Wallace Corporation to use in replicants. This is how she's been able to hide for so long. Kay has to make a choice. Even though he isn't the woman-born child and he seemingly has no purpose, he makes the choice to pursue a purpose. He ultimately gives his life in pursuit of this purpose, saving Deckard from the Wallace Corporation and bleeding out on the snow-covered steps as Deckard gets to go inside and finally meet his daughter for the first time. There's a lesson in there for all of us, but for me, it's a great example of creating and finding a purpose in life, even if it seems inconsequential or unmeaningful. For Kay, he made a small choice to save Deckard in order for him to meet his daughter, and he died while doing it. On the surface, for a lot of people, it can seem like an abrupt and unsatisfying ending to the film, because for Kay, it was. But the implied effects it has on the rest of the Blade Runner universe are immeasurable. Because of Kay's sacrifice, it is implied that everybody now is going to learn that replicants can be just as human as humans, with Deckard and his daughter being the proof. Throughout the film, Kay is being told what to do and what his identity is. He's a slave to it, and he has no say in the matter. But at the end of the film, we can take away that our identity and purpose don't have to be defined by the labels other people put on us. And ultimately, it's the purpose and the identity that we pursue that will define who we are at the end of our lives. Hey, thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please share this with somebody in your life who might enjoy it as well. And leave a comment down below about some of your own takeaways from this film. I know that there's so much more that we can talk about regarding this film, and maybe we will in a part 2 or in a longer version of this video. But for now, because this channel is so small and we're trying to build it up, I wanted to keep this video as short and concise as possible while still giving out some kind of meaningful analysis. So hey, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.